again. Doing a beginner's class again today. So if you haven't managed to watch any of the others, feel free to look back on my news feed and you can watch them back then. As you've seen, I've changed the times of my classes. By 8:30, I am so tired. I don't know about you, but I'm shattered. Today, we're going to do them at 1 o'clock. So my beginners class is Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. My seated class is Thursdays at 1 o'clock, and my Pilates pump is going to be Saturdays at 1 o'clock. But as you know, you can watch back whenever you want. Also got the children's Pilates, which I do on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. They're very fun for the kids. Hopefully they're a bit more participating than Roxy was this morning, but they all have their days like we do too. So, I'm going to take a sip of tea, but it's way too hot. So, let's make a start. We're going to bring our feet together like we always do, get to our neutral position. Out to a V, straighten them up, brings you roughly hip width apart. Keep the knees soft, don't let them lock. We'll do a few pelvic tilts, just loosening off any of that tension in your lower back that you've created or has just come through the days. And find that central point, that point B, halfway in between. Standing up nice and tall, keep the chest open, head up. Okay, I'm going to take a few deep breaths into our ribs, just preparing our body. And exhale, loudly. Do a couple neck stretches. We're going to look over to your left, your right, my left. And then over to your right, no, your left. I'll get there one day. Over to your right again, take a nice deep breath in. As you exhale, take your head a little bit further over. And over to your left. Same again, deep breath in. Exhale, stretch it over. To the center, take your right hip to right shoulder, making sure those shoulders are staying down. Just let the weight of your head hang low. And then over to the other side. Sometimes doing this, you're like, oh, I didn't realise I'm so stiff in my neck, but it's a really good one to do just throughout the day, regardless if you're doing Pilates or not. And to the center. Tuck your chin back, give yourself a double chin, bring it down onto your chest, take a nice deep breath. I love being able to feel my lungs stretch out those ribs. It's quite your rib area and your thoracic spine and your ribs will join into. It's quite a hard area to stretch out. Sometimes just taking a really deep breath is all you need just to open it all up a little. Exhale, lifting the head up. Then inhale again when the head's up tall. And exhale back to center. Lovely. Let's start our warm up. We're going to roll our shoulders backwards. I always like to work backwards because in our daily life we naturally do a lot of forward sort of motion. So we're going to roll them backwards, really using that full range of movement. When you're happy with those, if you want to make it a little bit more, you can have your hands on your shoulders and take those elbows round. Try and swipe them past your ears if you can, up and round. That's it. My hands are ice cold, so I really don't want to be touching my skin right now. Ooh, here we go. If you're happy with this one and you want to make it a little bit more, we can take them all the way around and back. That's it. Try and think when you bring your hands forward, your thumbs should be facing forward, not facing in. Up and around. Feel that stretch in your chest. You're taking your shoulders around. Feel all your stiff shoulders melt away. You may be starting to feel a little bit of ache already. If you haven't used your arms much this lockdown, I know a lot of us probably haven't been, unless you're doing a little DIY on your house. And relax down. Okay, we are going to do our dab stretch. So this is one for the youngins because they know what a dab is. So the feet are going to be slightly wider apart, again keeping the knees soft. If the feet want to point out ever so slightly, that's fine. Just keep the knees in line. We're going to take our hands up to one side, hips facing forward. I'm going to slide down, a bit like Usain Bolt with dabbing. So pulling this arm back, pushing that hip that way, and pulling your shoulders back the other way so you get a nice stretch down the side of your body. If you want to add a bit more of a stretch into the upper side, you can lift that arm up and look up to the ceiling. Bring it back down nice and slow. So we're just going to take these gently to begin with. Sliding down, feel that stretch, lift it up, and back down, and to the other side. So now we've warmed up, you can take it a little bit further if you want to. Just relax into that stretch, and up and around. So this is stretching your, a lot of muscles, but predominantly your QL, which are your muscles in your kind of your side, around your back. And if you ever suffer with a lot of back pain, stretching these out is definitely one way to help. And bring back in to centre. We're going to bring our feet back into our neutral. And just trying to work out what I reckon. Keep the knee, standing knee soft. We're going to tap the toe. We're going to try and hold it, so feel free if you need to hold on to something, you can. We're just going to rotate that leg in, rotate that leg out. My hips staying still. I'm just rotating that leg. If you find this too hard to do standing, just hold on to something, okay? You can also do this sitting as well if you wanted to. Just rotating, can't do it while looking at your leg, got to focus on a nice still spot. Rotate that leg in and out, keeping the supporting leg nice and soft and standing up nice and tall. And relax, we're going to do the same on the other side. So just tap that foot, get that balance, turn the leg in, turn the leg out, in, out, shake it all about, out, in. Keep breathing, standing up nice and tall, just getting that movement in that leg. So you may feel it goes quite tight as you're taking it out, or maybe tight as you're taking it in. It's not a problem, we're just using movement to stretch. And relax, bring it back in. We're going to be doing a gentle squat, so it's completely up to you. If you've never done squats before, I suggest maybe trying with a chair behind you, just so then you've got a gauge where to sit down to and come back up off. If you know that you prefer doing wide squats, you can do wide squats, or you can just do the normal narrow squats, whatever feels best for you. I'm going to do slightly wider, only because I've damaged one of my knees before. Take a nice deep breath in. You can bring your arms forward. What you're aiming for is to keep your knees over your feet. You don't want your knees to collapse in or go outwards if that's the way they go. So just down and up, down and up. Trying to keep, you don't want your bum to be sticking right out as you're going down. Trying to keep it in a nice straight line. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. Trying to stay looking forward, but I know what you mean if you want to look down at those knees, make sure they are staying over your toes. And relax, okay. We're going to do we're going to do a curl down. I swapped my plan halfway through. So sitting down on your mat, give you a couple minutes to sit down. We're going to have our toes on the edge. We're going to do our curl down. So if you know this isn't one for you, then just lie down. If this is one you want to work on, then go for it. So sitting up nice and tall, we're going to keep a gap between our chin and our chest. So what I mean by that is I don't want that chin tucking in or pulling forward as we're going down. We're going to try to go down a nice straight line. Palms facing up. Take a deep breath. I'm going to curl down nice and slow. So I'm curling that tailbone down underneath me, using that control as I'm going down. I'm not pulling my head forward, it's staying back. Got that chin and down. Don't worry if you didn't do it quite as slow as me, it's not a problem. You do it how slow or fast you want. Okay, we're going to be lying on our backs. So get comfy. Make sure your hips are nice in line, your shoulders are nice in line, so you're not kind of leaning over to one side or the other. We're going to be doing our toe tap, so I'll give you the easiest version and then work my way up. Easiest version, palms facing up. Exhale, lift the leg into tabletop, which is when your legs are 90 degrees. Your toes can be pointed or flexed, whatever feels best for you. We're going to exhale, tap the toe, inhale, lift. Exhale, tap, inhale, lift. Okay, if you want to make it harder, we're going to take it further down so your heel taps the floor and back up. Again, if that's too easy for you, you can lift both legs and then tap one, tap the other. Tap one, tap the other. Still too easy, you can take them both to the floor. Making sure these knees don't come up past your hip. So down and up. I prefer you to do a slightly easier version, and kind of really straining, or your stomach's bulging, you're cramping up in your back trying to hold yourself steady. It'd be better to do a kind of smaller move. So feel free if you're just doing it on one side or the other. Making sure the shoulders are nice and relaxed. Sloping into the floor, you're looking straight up at the ceiling. You can go slow or as fast as you want. Keep breathing. So now's the time to change. If you've been doing it on one side, change, put the other leg down and do your other side. For everyone else that's been doing it like this, keep going. You want, sorry, my throat's a little croaky. If you want to make it harder, you can do your arms at the same time. So take that opposite arm down. Bit of coordination. I don't know what I'm doing now. I don't know which way I'm going. There we go. I've got it now. Bring it up. And I'm going to do 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Relax, hug those knees in. Gone all croaky because I just had a big lunch. Here we go. And relax. Okay, we're going to put our feet down on the floor. We're going to do a little bit of work with our upper abs. I want you to be really cautious for this one on keeping that gap between your chin and your chest. Don't tuck your neck in. And we're not pulling with our head, we're going to be pulling with our chest and shoulders. So all we're going to be doing is just lifting ourselves up and down. It's not a big movement, but I really want to make sure I'm not just yanking myself up with my head and then pulling myself here. The movement's coming straight from my shoulders. If this feels like too much from you, then just leave it. Maybe just do some shoulder protractions where you lift your shoulders up, drop your shoulders down, lift your shoulders up, drop your shoulders down. But if you want to work the abs a little bit, lifting up, coming down. Looking straight up at the ceiling. Breathing. As you're doing it, it's hard to talk while doing it. Keep breathing, you should be feeling it working already. Then do another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax down. Bring those arms down. Let them stretch down the body and relax. We're going to take our palms facing up. We're going to come into our bridge. So you want your feet directly underneath your knees, not there or too tight in. About hip width apart. Make sure you're nice and even again. Palms can be on the floor facing up. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Looking up at the ceiling, keeping that gap. We'll do a few pelvic tilts, so rocking that pelvis forward and backwards. Get that movement. So you should feel your lower back press into the floor and then that arch afterwards. So I'll hold my hands up so you can see a bit better. You may feel your neck being pulled down into your shoulders. That's fine. That's just your spine moving. That's the pup. My partner's gone out with the other dog and my littlest one. And relax. We're going to now, as we curl up, we're going to lift our tailbone up like we're pulling up a string of beads, lifting up the spine nice and high. So you want roughly a straight line between your knees, your hips and your shoulders. You don't want to arch up so high like this, like you're flaring your ribs out. We want to keep our back nice and straight. Make sure that your knees are straight so they're not collapsing in or falling outwards. You should feel the pressure nice and evenly on your feet and a gentle pressure in those shoulders. I'm going to curl back down. I'll show you, keep your hands down, I'm just going to show you. So I really want you dropping each vertebrae, touching it down into the mat. A lot of people struggle when they get to their lower back, but it's because you're still trying to arch. So keep that tailbone pointing up, keep those bum muscles squeezed together and lower down nice and slow. So do that a few times, lifting up, bringing it up and then curling down nice and slow. Keep breathing as you're doing this, keep that control. If you feel like your legs are just going out or going in all the time, your knees like this, then maybe get a gauge like a ball or a rolled up pillow or towel or something that you can kind of squeeze in between your knees that keeps them roughly hip width apart, just to keep them there. Build the muscles correctly first. I love this move, as many of you know. Curling down. If you need to realign, that's fine. Curling up. Hips should be nice and level. And curling down. Okay, we're going to curl up this time. As we're going up, we're going to take our hands above our heads, touching our thumbs down to the floor, little fingers squeezing up. And then we're going to curl down, keeping those arms up. So you should feel an extra little stretch in that spine. That's it, putting it down nice and slow. You can bring your arms back down. And again, curling up, take those arms up. Keep the arms up and curl down. See if it's a little bit easier this time. Bring the arms down. One more time, curling up, taking the arms up, nice and evenly. Put the arms down on the floor above you and curl down. Bring those arms down. Lovely, well done. We're going to come onto our sides. So, I always forget the blocks. If you've got some blocks or books or rolled up towel, you know by now. Grab what you can. I'm going to show you what to do if you don't have any. So if you don't have any, I'll do this today. You can just relax on your arm. But when you're here, you want to make sure that your head's not too far forward. Keep it nice and open in a nice straight line. For me, I'm quite lucky that my arm is roughly the perfect height for my neck to be in a straight alignment. Sorry. So you don't want to be up like this, or you don't want to be completely lying down. So we're going to have our feet in line with our bums. So what I do is I just lift them up and have a look. I'm going to move back my mat a little bit. Lying down, making sure your shoulders are stacked, hips are stacked. This time we're going to lift our feet up. So our knees are on the floor, but our feet are up and together. Holding the hip and the pelvis nice and still, or you can have your hand in front if you need that bit of stability. We're just going to open and close, making sure we're not rolling back as we're opening. So keeping those feet up high, we're doing the clam, or level 2 version of the clam. Feet are up, opening and closing. So keep those hips stacked, shoulders stacked, and just open and close nice and slowly. Use those muscles, use that control. Try not let those feet sink down. If you're finding it too hard in this position, then just let your feet touch down and just open and close on the floor. It's not a problem, do what you can. Again, we're going to take ourselves to our 7. So a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you're completely relaxed, 10 being you're in agony, a 7 is where we want to be. So keep going, keep breathing. That's it. Making sure that you're keeping that good position, you're not starting to sink into your side, or that your feet are dropping. Feel it working in those muscles. So we're doing a 5, 4, 3, 2, keep going, 1, close them, relax down. Give it a rub if you need a little bit of a rub. We're going to come onto our side. What we're going to be doing is we're keeping our hips stacked, knees bent how they were before, that's not a problem. We want our hand straight down, shoulder straight over your elbow, and we're going to be lifting up into a side plank. If it's too much to do with your arm above your head, then just have your arm on your side and lift and lower. Okay, so we're going to be lifting and lowering, so when you're ready, take a breath. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. So in Pilates, we always like to exhale for exertion. So exhale as you're doing the harder part of the move. Exhale, lift. As you're lifting, really pushing up tall, you're not sinking into that shoulder, holding that waist up high and lower. So do it in your own time, as much or as little as you want. Really good for strengthening the shoulder and the lower back, working that spine. And do 2 more. And relax down. We're going to come down, back onto our arm. Take that arm out, and we're just going to do a bow and arrow. So relaxing your head down. Actually, you can, if you don't have a block or anything, feel free to keep your head on your arm. If you do have a block, then you can take the arm out straight. It's just for a gauge, for us to be able to slide over, slide back across the body, and touch the elbow down. I'm going to keep my head here. Slide it out, pull it as far away as you can, then come back over the body. Slide it out, coming back, just releasing any tension in that shoulder that we may have built when we were doing our mermaid plank. And relax back down to neutral. We're going to do a little side press up if you're happy to. So having your hand in line with your shoulder, lifting up. We're going to bring ourselves onto the other side. You don't have to twizzle around as quickly as me. Coming onto the other side, when you're ready, either having your blocks, your rolled up towel, or on your arm, whatever's best. We're going to have our feet in line with our bum again. If you're happy to have your feet up and do your climb here, you can. If that was too much, then keep them down and just open and close, making sure you're not rolling back. So when you're ready, we're going to just lift and lower, taking yourself to your 7, making sure your neck's in a straight line and your shoulders and hips are stacked. Lovely. Don't let that waist sink into the floor or your ribs sink into the floor. Just a gentle gap. Also, another bonus of not doing the class at 8:30 on Tuesdays is, I don't know if you guys have ever been there. If you haven't, you definitely should, but the Cow and Bean in Axminster, they do awesome 2 for Tuesday burgers, and we like to get them. And the girls love them as well. We normally get them about 5 o'clock, so by the time we eat, it's like 5:30, kind of 6. And yeah, and then trying to do a class after eating that, sometimes I'm a bit like, oh, very filling, because you have to get the cheesecakes as well. So luckily we'll be able to do that tonight. My partner and I are going to try for a date night if the girls stay asleep. We'll see how we get on. I'm just babbling on to keep you distracted, to keep you moving with these legs. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. If you're just sat there thinking about the burning or the pain or the ache, that's all you think about. Whereas if you distract your mind, you're actually like, oh, wait a minute, I've got a lot further than I would have if I was just thinking about it. So take yourself to your 7. If that's now, that's fine. If you're happy to carry on, then carry on. That's it. I'm starting slowly to get used to not having people in my classes and just talking to myself. It's not the same. Definitely prefer having you here with me, but we're managing for now. Fingers crossed for after Easter, eh? And relax down, give it a rub. I'm going to come up onto our elbow again. Yeah, sit on your elbow. Elbow underneath your shoulder, your knees can be bent how they were, feet slightly further back. When you're ready, exhale, lift, inhale, lower, exhale, lift, inhale, lower, exhale, lift, inhale, lower. So your knees are staying down, you're just lifting those hips up. Keep pushed up, tall, out of the mat. Keep that shoulder up instead of sinking in. Take those hips up nice and high. Can hear the ice cream man coming past. Might have to shout at them all day. I'm doing a live class, but can I have an ice cream, please? Two more. 1, 2, and down. So again, lying down on our side. If you've got something to rest your head on, then have your arm out. If you don't, keep your arm back. Use that. Just keep the neck relaxed. Stretching that arm out away from you, and we're sliding it back across our body, trying to touch our elbow down behind us, while keeping those hips stacked. Don't let them roll back completely. And across. And then across the body. You can take your head with this one, keeping that neck nice and relaxed. And back. Okay, you can do your side press up. We're going to come up onto our knees. So hand in front of you, not using the other arm, pushing yourself up. We're going to come onto our knees. But instead of our normal slides or pumps, what we're going to do is we're going to have one leg out. So you want your foot roughly in line with your knee, so it's not kind of far forward or far back. And your supporting knee nice and straight, so you're not kind of leaned one way or the other. Okay, so when you're here, making sure that your knees are nice and comfortable. If they're not, you can do this just kneeling if that's easier for you. We want to kind of stretch out the groin area too. So what we're going to do, just gently, we're going to slide down to one side and then slide down to the other side. Keeping that chest nice and open, you're not leaning forward. I bet you can all hear it now. The ice cream man. And down. And up. I'm waiting for my eldest to burst through the door saying, "Mummy, Mummy, the ice cream man's come." And down. So keep this chest nice and open, staying up nice and straight. Just feeling that stretch in your groin, in a knee, and down your side. That's why we've been doing all this side work today. Keeping it nice and strong. And back up to the centre. We're going to swap them over. So bring the other foot out, nice in a straight line. And do the same. Slide over one way. Just start it gently until your body warms up and it tells you it's ready to go a bit further. With stretching, it's never something you can force. You've just got to relax into it. So you'll be using a lot of muscles in your spine at the same time when you're lowering yourself down and lifting yourself up. So again, if you can't do it, both one leg out and just have both, be on both knees. Across and down. One more to the other side. And relax back onto your knees. You may have found that you were able to go further to one side or the other. It's completely natural. We're not perfectly symmetrical. In an ideal world we would be, but a lot of the time, as many of you know that have come for posture analysis, that isn't the way. Okay, we're going to come down onto our hands and knees into our box position. So, for those of you who don't know, box position is when your wrists are underneath your shoulder, your knees are underneath your hips, and your back's nice and flat. So we don't want to see you dipping or arching like this, just keep it nice and flat. Keep your neck pushed up, even if you've got loads of heavy hair like me. Push it up but look straight down. So can you see my neck's in a nice straight line? We're going to be starting working with our arms. So what we're going to do is lift our arm up, take it back, and then bring it round, nice and slow. If that's too much for your shoulder, if you can't do that, then just stay with up and back, up and back. And again, if that's still too much, then maybe try go out to the side. A lot of people that don't have the movement up and back will have the move sideways. So do whatever you can. Take it to the other hand, take it up, take it back, and then take it round and down. My thumb's facing up, then it's facing down, and then I'm bringing it round. So the rest of your body should be staying nice and still. Try not lean over to one side or the other. Keep that control. Up, back, around and down. Up, back, around and down. Do one more on each side. Lovely. Relax down into child's pose if your shoulders are a bit achy or if you just want to stretch your back out. So sitting back on your heels or as close to your heels, hands down on the mat. You can relax your head on the floor if it will reach. And just take a deep breath. We're going to come up onto our stomachs this time. So lying down. We're going to be doing our VW again. This is a great one for anyone that's got slightly forward head posture or the rounded shoulders, just to bring and strengthen everything back up in good alignment. So, trying to think where you can see. My head's going to go down on the mat, just completely relax for a minute. My arms are going to be doing the predominant moves. So this is our V, we want our thumbs facing up. Going to breathe in, lift, and this will be our W. So we're going to relax down and bring ourselves up. When we're in this up position, I'm still looking down at the ground. I'm not cranking my neck. I'm looking at the ground and I'm pushing my neck up nice and straight. My elbows are back, but they're still roughly about shoulder height, so they're not like this or like this. So relax, come up, relax, come up, okay? Keep looking straight down. If you want to put this a little harder, you can lift your legs up and down, up and down. Keep breathing for this one, don't hold your breath. So if you're happy with your legs down, that's fine. And do 3 more. 3, 2, 1. Relax down. Just let your body melt into the mat for a minute. Take a few deep breaths. Okay, we're going to push up nice and gently into child's pose, stretching down. And relax again, just let that spine stretch out. And then we're going to bring ourselves up, ready for our end phase. We're going to start with our cat-cow. So in our box position, nice and flat to begin with, pushing that neck up nice and straight. We're going to be doing our cat-cow. So tuck that tailbone under, arch in that back and look down. We really want to, as we're doing this move, we want to think about arching more in our lower back than our upper back. A lot of people have a lot of movement in the upper back. So really bring that lower back up, look down. And we're going to do the opposite. We're going to stick our tailbone up, come up and gently looking up. We want to think about moving more in our thoracic spine, so the upper part of our spine, than our lower spine. So don't worry too much about the movement here. Think about the movement here. Curl down and push up tall. And stick that tailbone up and do the opposite. So just nice gentle movement of that spine rolling between your cat and your cow. Okay, we're going to straighten up again. Keep that neck pushed up, then we're going to lean forward over our hands, over those wrists. Feel the weight, feel them stretch out. And then lean back, trying to keep that tailbone down though. Don't let it stick up as you're going down. Keep it nice and flat. Just pull those shoulders out. And then back over those wrists. And then back over the heels. So working on your wrists is really good for your carpal strength. So a lot of people do suffer with carpal tunnel in their wrists. This is good to help prevent that, to keep them moving, keep them strong. One more time, over those wrists. And back. So back in our box, we're going to do our wiggling dog. So looking down towards that hip. So twist that hip up, look down towards it. And then the other way, twist the hip up and look down towards it. I'll do it facing you just in case that helps. So twist, twist. You can see with my hair, I can only see my hair. Twist. Trying to keep that back flat. Twist. And back to the centre. Okay, we're going to come into our seated position. I'm going to face you just so you can see. We're going to have one leg out straight. We're going to take the other one over, doing our shoelace stretch. This is a lovely one for stretching out the body. If this is enough for you, just sitting up nice and tall, then you can stay there, that's not a problem. If you want to make it a bit harder, you can flex that foot, flex those toes behind, towards you. Take the opposite arm across the bent leg and open up, sitting up nice and tall and looking over your shoulder. I'm going to take it to the opposite side. And back to the centre. I'm going to swap them over. Sitting up nice and tall again. Do the opposite arm over that bent leg. Open up. Sitting up nice and tall. You can have that hand behind you if you need help, but just push you up a little bit instead of collapsing down. And then over to the other side. And back to the centre. Now sitting however you find comfortable, if that's with your legs forward, your legs crossed, your legs bent, whatever feels best for you. I'm going to sit with my legs crossed. Okay, we're going to just do a couple of shoulder roundings over round one back, then the other, then the other, then the other. Keep them rolling back. Make sure you pull them down as well as going up. And relax them down, nice and equal. Okay, we're going to take one hand down and just stretch over so you can bend in that elbow. Feel that stretch. And up. So you've done a lot of lateral work, which is side to side, or sideways of our body today. We don't do a lot of, we do, in our daily life, or most people's daily life, we do a lot of flexion and extension, which is bending forward and back, but we don't do a lot of twisting or the lateral bends either. Okay, got a frog in my throat. Take a nice deep breath, making sure you're sat up nice and tall. You don't want to be arching in your back, but you don't want to be slumped, so just have your back nice and straight. We're going to take one hand behind our back. You can hold on to the other arm if you want to, and then we're going to drop that shoulder. So if your left hand is behind your back, you want to take your ear to your right shoulder, or vice versa. Take a few breaths, really just feel that stretch in your neck. And up. Relax, over to the other side. If you can't reach your shoulder, if that's too tight, then just have it behind your back where it feels comfortable for you. And over. Sitting up nice and tall, just relaxing those shoulders. Tuck your chin in, nice and deep. Hold it back there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. You should feel that instant, like, oh, that you want to slump forward. But holding your head back for a lot of people is a good thing. You want to encourage pulling it back instead of being forward here with it. So open up those shoulders again, squeeze those shoulder blades together, push that head back for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. But this time try not to slump, just gently relax into that position. So you should feel more open and sitting up more upright than you would normally be here. Take a deep breath. Well done everyone, that's today's class. Hope you enjoyed it like all of them. Really looking forward to having you back in class, like I always say, but I always mean it. I know a lot of you, thank you for all your kind emails and messages. I too can't wait to have you back. I will keep sending over links for the YouTube ones, and if you've got any requests, if anybody's got a particular move or particular class you would like to do, I will be doing a prenatal one. I've got the plan, I'm just trying to work out when I can do it. But I will let you know on Facebook, so feel free to tag people when you see it. And I will see you all soon. Hope you have a good evening. I'm going to enjoy my burger, and